miss you.
Stuck a couple Bitcoin.
Money, though.
Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon.
My name is Brandon Doak.
And I'm Woody.
And we're here on episode number 49.
Yeah, and we have a really special guest today, Alex Stirk. Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Really good, thanks. And big thank you for taking the time to be on the show with us today.
Oh, no, I appreciate being asked to come on. It was, it's good to be here and kind of talk some altcoins with some passionate individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. You can, of course, find him on Twitter there, at Alex_Stirk. And also, he has his own show called Block Talk that you should definitely check out.
Yep, very cool show.
We try and cover lots of new altcoins and also new technologies in the space and kind of banter about news and whatever. So yeah, it's good info for the community that I hope to keep putting out if people keep wanting it.
Awesome. And this week's show, as usual, is brought to you by Cryptopia. That's cryptopia.co.nz. Check them out.
Yeah, Cryptopia is just kind of a great altcoin platform. Their exchange has been getting a ton of new interest lately, a lot of new users. They've been updating the interface a lot. They got these new charts. They're kind of more Poloniex-style charts. You should definitely check those out. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people looking for coins on Cryptopia right now, especially after the whole PascalLite thing. So,
and if you do head over there, you can check out their forum, and then there's a subforum called Altcoins. We've got a thread stickied at the top of that, and if you leave us a comment, we can tip you some dots that Cryptopia has given us.
Yeah, we'll throw you 5,000 dots just for stopping in the thread and saying hi. We're also going to do a surprise 10,000 dot giveaway today on the show.
Yep.
So that'll just kind of be somewhere in the middle of the show. We'll have like a random trivia question, and you can get some dots that way as well.
And we wanted to thank everyone for their votes on the Wolong Awards, and we'll be announcing the results of that next week on our 50th episode with Not So Fast.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun too.
All right, let's get into it.
We're going to start off this week with a second look at a coin that I think probably a lot of people have heard of now, called PureVidz.
Yeah, it seemed like an appropriate one to at least take a look at this point, because I definitely ignored it on the announcement, I think.
We've kind of had a policy of ignoring ICOs until they are released, I guess, and that was definitely the case. I wasn't paying much attention to PureVidz. I don't know, have you been watching this coin, Alex?
No, not particularly. Like, when did the ICO take place?
I want to say it was about a month or two ago.
Yeah.
It was really cheap ICO. I think it only raised somewhere in the range of like 10 to 30 Bitcoins or something.
Well, that's right around what like NXT probably made back when they did their ICO. So right. You never know with these things, right?
Yeah, and so market-wise, right now it's sitting at a $2.3 million market cap, which is quite a jump from that ICO. I went and checked out their website, their PureVidz website, and I was pretty impressed that they actually have a bunch of videos that I could just stream there, but then
right.
It brought up the question to me that how are they possibly going to get away with this project?
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to keep, it kind of would have to be the same like business model that the streaming sites use where they're constantly changing their domains and stuff. And I have to wonder, I mean, it just seems so risky. Like, I could never imagine trying to be the person pulling this off. It probably would be a lot more difficult for me as like a U.S. national to get away with it. But it's just impressive to me that people are out there trying stuff that is kind of this, aggressive, you could say.
Right.
Well, and copyright seems to be a really easy thing to enforce when you're charging for it. That's where I think you have a lot of issues on YouTube. If you're monetizing is when you really get slapped hard. But if like you're doing, just some goofy video, you can usually get away with a lot of fair use stuff. So I think if they're hoping to monetize this, they could have some serious legal issues.
Right, exactly. So I guess from my perspective, it's kind of like an enjoy it while it lasts thing right now, as far as both the the people that are in the pump currently enjoying it, and then might as well enjoy those streaming videos if you can right now too, to be honest.
Yeah, and aside from, the potential legal or ethical issues, if you just look at it as a coin, like in terms of what we're used to seeing with new coins and stuff, they've actually delivered on their product in a really, really quick and effective way compared to what I would expect. And so it's not surprising for me to see it kind of shooting up this quickly. It's, I would never recommend buying something that's pumped up like this already, but it's pretty impressive what they've done, honestly. And as somebody who spends a lot of time looking at new coins, I kind of got blindsided by this one, which happens a lot, and it's just fun to see how much kind of stuff is out there.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's PureVidz.
And then we're going to just take a look at some various news items. And at the top of our list this week is the Ubiq launch. And that ties right in with Alex, because you are the community manager for Ubiq?
Yes, that's correct. So I'm kind of officially part of the team. We have 3 other developers that we use to kind of launch this new chain based off the Ethereum code base. And we ported over the existing value from our old coin, the beta project that Julian and Luke have kind of built up, formerly known as Jumbucks. So now the new network has been launched for about a week, launched on the 28th. And we actually had a substantial amount of hash rate join the network. We were blown away, floored by the amount of support from miners in particular. We had about 115 gigahashes at our peak, which is about we settled around 80 gigahashes, which is 1% of the Ethereum network. So we were just completely dumbfounded with where all this hash rate was coming from.
I imagine that's a lot. Is that quite a bit higher than the hash rate that was on the Jumbucks network prior to the swap, as far as power is concerned?
The Jumbucks network was proof of stake.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I remember Jumbucks when it came out in 2014. Back then it was CoinMarketCoin, I think, and you could mine it. It had a short proof of work, like Blackcoin model.
Oh, awesome.
I think type situation where it went full proof of stake.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to say that the launch was probably one of the fairest launches since Bitcoin, with a large period for everyone to kind of get their miners up and running for the proof of work period. Anyone who participated in that coin markets chat, which was kind of the place to be, I think, for altcoins in 2014, knew about the launch and had plenty of opportunity to participate in it. There was no rewards for the first couple blocks, so people could actually make sure that their miners were working. So there's a pretty substantial difficulty for the script network when it launched. But yeah, we wanted to carry that value forward and that community to actually have with this new coin, which we have a lot of interesting projects coming along for it.
Awesome, yeah, and we're looking forward to those types of projects, because we know that one of the reasons for the swap was that the developers felt like they could excel in the DApps space. So
yeah, Luke and Julian both are very accomplished programmers, and they had a lot of ideas for the Jumbucks chain, but when it came down to actually deploying them, it was, you really had to hack stuff together. The Bitcoin code base is meant for just variable storage. It's you can't do a whole lot of crazy stuff with it. We were trying to do some identity stuff, playing around with embedding torrent links, and it was all just it seemed like it was duct taped on. Where when we looked at the Ethereum code base, we saw that this was a network that was built for programmers, so it's meant to have a lot more functionality built on top of it. And there's already been a lot of things we've been very happy with, playing around with it and kind of improving. So in terms of functionality, it's like a Lego brick. The possibilities are endless with what we can build on it now.
And then I also thought I saw something about a GUI wallet. That is in the works for it?
Yeah, so we've held off on releasing the GUI wallet just because we wanted to stabilize the network first, so we could put the GUI out with all the connections basically set up, so it's far easier for laymen to use. So yeah, we've had just 3 iterations now in the beginning, the first week here, to kind of stabilize the network, play around with the difficulty a bit. And the GUI should be coming out now early this week, along with opening up the Trex market. So look for deposits to be opened up, I think, on Monday here, and then the market will probably open about 12 hours later.
Nice. Yeah, congratulations on that swap. That's really awesome to get everybody on board with the exchanges and everything. That seems like it went really smoothly.
Yeah, like we're happy to have the support of Ventrix and to be able to keep our market listed there. And if any other exchanges are listening and then want to list Ubiq, by all means, go right ahead. Like we're excited to be tradable in more locations. And we also want to stress that we understand with the Ethereum code base that there will be some longer confirmation times. Like since we launched now, like we have similar hash rate to the Ethereum network did when they launched, and they were looking at about 700 confirmations. So we're probably going to be in line with that for a little bit, just for security's sake with some of the other networks that have been out there.
And yeah, that kind of stuff is to be expected too. It's kind of one of the cool things about moving to an Ethereum chain is that you're opening up all these possibilities, but we've also seen a lot of other chains struggle with the Ethereum code base. And so when you hear, it's obvious that you guys have kind of put in the attention to detail on, I guess, kind of the steps that need to be taken in order to handle running an Ethereum clone type or an Ethereum code base, which I think is really great. I was able to get mining this week. It was really easy to get set up on mining, just like, with Ethereum, I guess. And that was a lot of fun. I did find I kind of mined in the early phase where the hash was super high, and I was like, "Oh man, this is not. This is probably not going to pay off right away." But
yeah, like we're pretty happy with the hash rate where it is, and I think people see the innovation that we're not just like a direct clone; we're actually like a fork of their code base and have made significant improvements. So we're turning this into our own project. That's really the intent.
Yeah, and one of the cool things when you think about hash rate like that is it speaks a lot to kind of the general interest that's out there for a coin, because it's so easy to fake interest in a lot of ways. You can fake volume on exchange, you can fake Twitter likes, you can fake just about everything in crypto, and people do that all the time. But the one thing you really can't fake is hash rate. And so that's one of the reasons that, like, if you look at new coins or kind of speculate on new chains a lot like we do, one of the first things you look at is hash rate. And so to see Ubiq with this huge hash rate out the gate is, I think, really exciting.
Yeah, like we have lots more developments coming, but yeah, like right now, I think the hash rate is the main thing we want to focus on keeping miners happy and having lots of participation that way. That was the main reason for moving to proof of work, was we wanted to be available to I guess that segment of our demographic. Like those kind of participants in our community are I guess they're the most valuable to us, at least for right now. We're looking at more dApps in the future and whatnot, but right now, like in terms of support, hash rate is going to keep our network secure, and we're going to reward those miners with good developments coming out later this year. We have some conferences we want to go to, some proof of concepts, and you're going to be hearing much more about Ubiq this year.
Awesome. So yeah, basically just the end and beginning of chapters in a long story of one of the altcoins out there.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're a miner, think about it. Now you have kind of a third choice between just Ethereum and Zcash that we've kind of been stuck on for the past few months. So it's really great to have more options there too.
And we're happy to have them.
So yeah, Ubiq, that's obviously big in the news. Next up, we are going to talk about the Bitcoin block size controversy.
Yeah. In particular, there's this news article circulating this week that I found interesting, where somebody who has apparently started off as a Bitcoin investor and eventually moved on to investing in hash, essentially making a threat is how I read it.
It seems like there's a lot of threats this week. There was something going around Twitter about like a mining pool was threatening to use like $100 million to block one of the mining proposals.
Right. Yeah, that's this guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's Luke. No, so Luke Jr. is it's hard for me to keep up with all this. Like, it's like a soap opera.
Right, yeah. But the bottom line is that there's people with a bunch of money that are saying that they're going to enforce their will via their money, right?
How does that work, though? Are you buying ASICs with that money? Are you doing industrial sabotage? Again, it's funny.
Could
to
be.
see.
It sounds like it's a combination of like them buying more hardware, but also them incentivizing their blocks. So like if you mine an unlimited block, they'll throw in like an extra Bitcoin into the block rewards, that sort of thing. At least that's how like I think Ver was kind of issuing similar threats earlier in the year.
Where would those Bitcoins come from?
Like personal holdings. Like that's what I mean. Like they're basically paying out like extra transaction fees if you mine their Bitcoin block. So like they're basically bribing miners is how I'm understanding it.
Well, that's kind of more interesting than I was originally thinking. Actually, that's pretty. I mean, that's kind of a fun way to deal with the incentives, I guess.
That's crazy, though.
There's definitely a war going on with hash rate, or like people are stacking arms. You look at the difficulty for Bitcoin; it's just been skyrocketing in the past couple of months. So I think lots of people are buying new equipment purely for supporting their segment of the network. Like they want to get their code base, I guess, with more hash rate.
Yeah, I can understand that. And, it also seems like it might not be the type of thing where anyone would ever be a clear winner either. They might just have to... it reminds me of that Dr. Seuss Butter Battle book where they just keep piling it on. More and more weapons. They could... I mean, these guys have a lot of money, apparently, so I don't know.
Yeah, and like the Ethereum and Ethereum Classic showed us that these kind of battles don't necessarily have a winner and a loser. Like, the end result of this could be just, whatever side that, does end up getting overridden, or if they ever do, might just decide to be like, oh, well, this is our own chain that we're going to completely fork off now.
Well, won't there always be the core chain no matter what happens?
I mean, in a way, there will always be all the chains as long as somebody's running a node, and it's like, it's kind of a crazy thing to think about with just the way that distributed governance in general works. Is it's almost like there's an infinite number of possible paths that you could take through the network, and there's kind of like a consensus, but that's never 100% consensus around the one main chain. It's hard to even visualize. It's cool.
Well, and I think if you want control of the network, you can have 51% and fork off, but then you're going to have like two networks that are running at half the speed until eventually some people switch over to one or the other, and it kind of gets like a runaway race. So there could be other Bitcoins created from this like hard fork they're trying to get. But the question is whether or not like it remains like what's going to be the longest chain, because it's going to be a rough like 2 or 3 weeks before the difficulty changes if we get this fork.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that Segwit was just going to solve it, and now it's completely stalled at 30% or whatever. It doesn't look like it's gaining any ground there. So it's obvious that this is going to be going on for a while.
Yeah, I think the joke was they called it the Hillary Clinton of proposals. Like it's just kind of everyone was in favor of it. It was just amazing, and then all of a sudden it's like it hits 25 really rather quickly, and then just stalls there, and it hasn't gone anywhere since.
Yep. So that's seems like that's just where we are with this Bitcoin battle. It looks like it's just going to get uglier and uglier.
Yeah, and you described it as a soap opera, which I think is a great way, and it will be fun to just kind of watch what happens, regardless of how it turns out. Like, I don't feel like I have a big say in this, honestly, when these people have this many Bitcoins. So I guess I'll just watch in amazement.
Alrighty, so that was the Bitcoin block size battle. Next up, we're going to follow up with T-Rex's chart updates from last week.
Yeah, I didn't notice the difference, honestly.
Yeah, it seems like there was no update. I think that's the news.
They're just running more how they should be, I guess.
They took the charts down for like a day, and they appear to be no different. My biggest gripe with Ventrix's charts, right? I can deal with kind of most of the idiosyncratic stuff about them, but the time increments jumps from 1 hour to 1 day. That's just such a harsh transition. where's my 4-hour chart?
Right.
I need that 4-hour. I need my 12-hour.
Love that 4-hour chart.
Love it.
I also like 15-minute candles too. I wish those were around.
Yeah, they inexplicably don't have the 15-minute candle either. But, oh well. Maybe next week they'll bestow upon us a different chart.
Mm-hmm. So this week has been a lot of Segwit altcoin tweeting and small pumps.
Yeah, everyone's jumping on the segregated witness bandwagon, I guess, as a way to try and create flash pumps for their coins, I think.
Yeah, so we saw Vertcoin, GanjaCoin, and to a certain extent Litecoin falls in there, but that market can't be pushed in either direction, as I think people learned.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's funny, GanjaCoin, I think, beat everybody to the punch. They just kind of implemented it, and they're like, here, we did it, we're first. And I think they did catch a pump for it, actually. We'll see, how long it lasts. But now, Vertcoin's kind of following. They're like, oh shit, now we need to announce it. Litecoin, of course, had been announcing it for a long time, but they haven't started the signaling process yet.
So, I am not super technical when it comes to this type of change, but I wonder, is there any downsides to this type of decisions like that they're making? Are there any negative repercussions to saying we're going to try to implement Segwit, or is it all just roses?
I kind of have to feel like there's probably some risk in implementing any new technology. Like, they're going to be taking on the risk of the implementation having potential exploits or something inside of it. And so in a way, I would see this Segwit stuff as being better for the people who are arguing for Segwit for Bitcoin, because it's going to have all these playgrounds out there now, right? Like,
yeah, I think one good argument or stream of talk I saw on Twitter was that, Litecoin implementing Segwit would be a good way to test it for Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
That's
types of
kind how I
things that makes sense to me.
And let's be honest, if you're Litecoin and you don't really have much going for you, like in the way of, it's basically impossible for Litecoin to generate news at this point. Being like, oh yeah, we'll do Segwit. That's probably a pretty good way for them to drive new attention to the coin. And it's still one of the biggest coins, so.
It's always been up there at the top of the list.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good way for a coin that otherwise can't get a lot of publicity to drum some up, I think.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of network scale and probably like the mining community, I think it's a good one too, because if Litecoin implements properly, then a lot of the miners in the Bitcoin space are probably familiar with miners in the Litecoin space. So it's kind of it's a good, I guess, talking point for them if it does get implemented and we see something built for it.
Yeah. And reminds me of what Brandon said earlier, that you can't fake hash rate. And in the case of Litecoin, they have a massive hash rate. In fact, they've generated an industry around ASICs because of what they created. So
right.
It's hard to kind of keep that in perspective, I think, when we're at where we're at for some reason.
They've also had a hash rate spike, too. That's kind of funny, because, Alex, you were talking about this Bitcoin hash rate spike that might be due to people trying to, get more control over the network. I wonder if this recent Litecoin hash rate spike has any similarities. Or if it's just like a new ASIC.
That's possible too. Like, it could be just speculation too. People seeing Segwit get activated means it has potential future value. So, like, sometimes you'll see is hash rate leads market. So you'll see like spikes in the market after like a spike in hash rate. But I think in terms of like what is Litecoin's use case, which is mainly like exchange arbitrage, like whenever we have delays in the Bitcoin network, I think a lot of big traders go to Litecoin. So if they have Segwit, now you're talking about like instant arbitrage between exchanges. If exchanges start implementing like Litecoin Lightning nodes, so I think that's fairly bullish news to have for Litecoin if they can get it implemented.
Yeah, that's an interesting look at a use case that I certainly hadn't really considered for Litecoin.
I think people I've heard of that, and even Dogecoin for some people in extreme cases.
Just keep cranking it up. That's funny.
Just for sending coins as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's a shame that Ethereum requires such high confirmations, because it has some of the fastest block times. So it would be interesting if their difficulty ever reached a point where they could supplant Litecoin even for transaction times and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
And I think in terms of market slippage, like Litecoin's probably one of the higher, it's got like one of the thickest books compared to Bitcoin. I know Ethereum's up there as well, and Doge also. But that's big in terms of arbitrage as well. You need to have a thick book. So
Yeah, absolutely.
We also wanted to mention in the news this week that the hilarious shitcoin show Shitcointalk is back this week.
Yep, we were super happy to get to listen to that earlier.
I gotta say, for me, the funniest person this week was Godson. He was just throwing jokes out left and right. It was hilarious.
Yep, and then Brando gave the best joke to Not So Fast.
Yeah,
what was it? What was the
It was
joke?
the Boolberry bush.
Oh, yeah, the Boolberry bush.
That was great. So
Hilarious.
check those guys out. The Twitter is at Shitcointalk.
Yep, great show. And as usual, feel free to go over to blockchaindynamics.net and submit news to us, because that's a great way for us to know what's happening and for you to get your news heard.
Yeah, we'll cover pretty much anything. Pretty much.
Up next, we're looking at the markets in general.
Yeah, we love to keep track of the overall market swings, kind of trying to take a super high level look at altcoin markets compared to the Bitcoin markets. This week, kind of the most obvious thing, the most notable thing would have been the huge volume decline with PascalCoin mania, I guess, happening last week.
You're right.
We saw huge volumes on tons of coins. Everyone's kind of trying to chase it and follow along and be like, oh, me too, I can do a pump too. This week was the reverse of that as far as volume. Huge declines in volume, only like right now about 1,200 Bitcoins on Ethereum. That's the top volume today.
Right, yeah. So that is way down from what we saw that Pascal pump go to.
Yep, and as we know from the latest, like OKCoin having to stop faking volume and stuff, you never really know. You can never really say how much of the volume is real, but you can say, like, it's kind of real relative to what it is then and now. Like, you never know what the real volume is, but it's definitely obvious that it's down.
Right. I agree on that.
But there was also still a lot of activity in the alt markets.
Yeah, there was, and there was a lot of alts that were up.
Yeah, actually, most alts are up overall. Bitcoin is up, of course, about almost 12% this week, shooting back over $1,000. Everyone's pretty happy about that, obviously.
Yeah, and I think the sentiment, it just feels a little different this time.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting to get wrecked on a lot of these alts that I'm holding right now. I'm a little overbought because I did good on PascalCoin, obviously, so I was like over exuberant in my shitcoin buying.
Yeah,
week.
it was easy to be.
So now I'm just sitting on all these bags. I'm like, what should I do? But this week, most alts were actually up compared to USD. If you look at the top 100 altcoins, they're up about 0.7% against the US dollar. And even if you exclude Ethereum, they were still up about 6%.
Wow.
And that's in fiat. So you compare that to the Bitcoin value, and it's actually down about 4%. So Bitcoin up huge. It's essentially dragging up the altcoin market caps with it, even though alts are still slipping a little bit relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah. It seems like we've seen a variety of things happen in these Bitcoin movements.
Yeah, in these pump weeks.
Yeah, and this one in particular, altcoins didn't get very affected.
This is actually one of the best weeks since we've started tracking for when you look at breakout weeks for Bitcoin. This is one of the best weeks we've seen as far as alt resiliency. We've seen probably like a 5 or 6 breakouts of this magnitude since we started tracking a few months ago. Only in one of those cases did alts actually keep up with Bitcoin price-wise. And that was kind of that was like in October when it was really like the peak of the altcoin pumps. And since then, every week that Bitcoin has gone up, for the most part, alts have been killed or they're barely climbing in USD value.
Uh-huh.
This week they had a huge spike, so it kind of shows that we're starting to see more resiliency. And then when you look at the overall altcoin market caps on CoinMarketCap, where they keep track of like the big total, the combined market cap or whatever, we're up to 2.7 billion this week. That's up huge from last week when it was 2.53 or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we're approaching the absolute peak, which was 2.89 billion. So we're about a little under 10% off of what the absolute peak was. But that was like a really short-term spike. That was like when Ethereum and the DAO was going nuts.
Yeah, that was mostly Ethereum-led.
And then when that dumped, it just dropped way down. So this is actually the highest sustained floor for altcoin market caps, really, that we've ever seen. We're kind of in uncharted waters right now.
Wow. As we usually are with altcoins.
Yeah, that's true. The waters are rarely charted here.
Now, where do you guys usually keep track of like altcoins? Like, how do you kind of choose your pool of alts for the market cap, or for just like market share in general?
We still lean on CoinMarketCap for the most of our data. It's been just kind of the best overall resource for us as far as they have their historical data goes back incredibly far because they've been doing it for so long, and they have a really good they have a really good system of doing like exchange weighted pricing and volumes and stuff. That's been useful for us. So as far as these numbers, we look at the top 100 altcoins from CoinMarketCap to get kind of the general trend for the top altcoins. And then we look at
We do exclude some outliers occasionally.
Yeah, if there's something really weird, like a C-Cex coin with a super fake supply or something, then we'll try and drop those. But
yeah.
To the extent we can.
The only reason I mention it is there's another site that I look at too is Cryptolization. And they compare Bitcoin and the altcoin market caps to the S&P 500.
Oh. What's that
yeah,
website?
So
Cryptolization, he said.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
nice. We don't know that one.
And I like to check on it recently. Like the last time I looked at it was I think was around the DAO hype, and we were right around the same value as Red Hat, which is like the Linux company. So I found that kind of interesting that cryptocurrencies as a whole were worth the same as Linux. And now looking today, we're at 259 in the S&P 500, so right above Rockwell Automation. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that's a really cool perspective. I like that.
Yeah, we're always looking for new resources. That's great, man. Thank you.
Very nice. Cryptolization was that.
Yeah.
A couple other statistics that I've been watching are the Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance. Bitcoin dominance, of course, is the Bitcoin market cap relative to overall altcoins or overall cryptocurrencies. They're sitting at 85.8% this week, so that's up 0.4%.
Yep, that's to be expected when we see this Bitcoin price rise, I think.
Yep, definitely. And as far as Ethereum dominance, that's also up 0.4% this week to 36.8%.
Oh, man, you know me, I'm always rooting Ethereum on. Come on, guys, you can do it.
Yeah, one of the things we've been looking at is which altcoin is kind of tracking, which of the big altcoins is tracking the most with the overall altcoin market. Because people love to say, like, when Ethereum was pumping, it's like all the other alts are pumping because of the energy Ethereum brought to the market. And people have been wondering is that kind of a reasonable thesis, and could there be another coin that will eventually take the lead? A lot of people have been talking about like Monero as one, or potentially Dashcoin. And what we're seeing again this week is that alts are still tracking really close to Ethereum. Whether you exclude or include Ethereum, we still find the overall alt markets are shifting along the same trend. And that kind of tells you that Ethereum is still carrying the water for altcoin markets in general.
Yeah. Very interesting, actually.
As far as the gainers and losers this week.
Yeah, we're looking at PureVidz, man. They went up 456%.
Huge.
MetalCoin up 137%. The Boolberry bushes up 131%. And Vcash making it up 104%. That one got me salty, I'll be honest. Yeah.
He sold his Vcash cheap.
Yeah.
Shaking out.
That Vcash, it's like, this is like the most Yobit-like pump I've ever seen on Poloniex, because that wallet has got to have been locked for like 2 months.
Yeah,
at this
exactly.
point.
No coins have come in for so long.
She's like, yeah, the wallet's been down for 2 months, but you can still trade it.
It's no big deal. No comment from Poloniex
No comment.
ever.
Notch got some ridiculous volume with this last little uptick here. It's like all-time highs for volume. Trying to get the Bitcoin figure. But no, it was rather impressive. Hopefully BK's got something in store for us to justify some new highs again.
The thing about Nautilus is that it seems like it's either going just precipitously up or catastrophically down. I don't think it has any other speed. For the Poloniex coins, it has like the sharpest climbs and declines of any coin. I remember last year when it did like 30x in 1 week, and everyone was just like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, it's fun.
BK strong,
Yeah.
CNBC dollars.
Exactly.
And on the other side of the fence, the Pascal is down. They're down 43%. Zcoin down 34%. TrumpCoin down 31%. And Stratis 28% down.
Yeah, it seems like when Bitcoin pumps, it's the recent altcoin pumps that get hit the hardest, which makes sense because they're obviously super inflated in price. But
Yeah.
all these coins, Pascal, Zcoin, TrumpCoin, and Stratis, are all coming off of recent pumps, so it's not really surprising.
Yep.
Stratis, I thought, was going to hold up a little better. I'm not going to lie. It seems like it really took this latest spike hard.
Yeah, it's a big market, actually. And it obviously it's one of Poloniex' more recent additions, so I think that creates some turbulence, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. It hadn't had as much time to establish the market.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move into our dot giveaway. This is your chance to win 10,000 dot.
Holy crap.
Basically, all you have to do is send me the answer to the question at Chain Dynamics on Twitter. The question is, what was the first coin we ever talked about on Blockchain Dynamics?
Boom.
Just head over to that first episode. You can actually probably just find it in the timestamps. You probably don't even have to listen to it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's funny.
Send me
Think
the
about
answer
that.
to the question, and with the dot address, first person to send me the answer to the question gets the 10,000 dot. The question was, what was the first coin we talked about on Blockchain Dynamics?
Yeah, SoundCloud.com/Blockchain Dynamics has those archives. You can get to them easy.
It was Bitcoin, wasn't it?
No, it was a really
A now dead shitcoin.
yeah, really
Long
bad
dead
coin.
shitcoin,
Like,
yeah.
because we cover like every coin basically.
Yeah, we get into the weeds.
You gotta get fringe, yeah.
Yeah. So our next segment is this little rolling review. Basically, we try to find coins that we're seeing interesting things with and just follow them through until they kind of either fizzle out or become popular enough that we want to quit mentioning them as well.
Yeah, it's like you see an announcement when it launches and you're like, I wonder whatever happened to that coin. Well, wonder no further because we got the rolling review.
Yeah. One that we've been keeping our eye on, funny enough, is PonyCoin, which is started off with like a super slow start where they weren't going to have full block rewards.
Yep.
And so, if anything, right now the news is simply that they have started their full block rewards.
Yeah, this coin came out. You guys are probably like, why the hell are you talking about this? There's like 3 pages in the Bitcoin talk thread. It's mostly it was a broken wallet at first, like all kinds of weird things, but for some reason, for starters, there just aren't a lot of no pre-mine coins out there right now, and so that makes any of the ones that do come out stand out. But it's also got a higher hash rate than you might expect. That's one of those things, going back to our earlier discussion, it's like,
Right.
Why are people mining this?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder. And so, so we're watching PonyCoin. Had a really long, slow start, like 10,000 blocks with almost no reward. It's just now started into the 20,000 blocks interval of having the full rewards.
Right.
So the whole thing's going to get distributed in the next 20,000 blocks. And
Yeah, I'm intrigued by these coins because I think I mentioned last week that it reminds me of Oh Really Coin from last year, which was an easy mining play for me, with even just one graphics card. So, but this is script, so then it's like you can't really do it with a graphics card. So
yeah, and I was looking at trying to potentially do like a nice hash play on it, and like I said earlier, the difficulty is like suspiciously high. Like I can't imagine a coin with basically no community activity or no indication of anything other than just being a coin to hold up that well. But
right, so I feel pushed out of the mining period, but I'm still going to keep my eye on it, especially like we talked about maybe with Pascal a little bit. When the coins can get generated for incredibly cheap, then it's like easy for people to sell them for inexpensive while feeling like they
made a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a crappy coin.
Yep. So far, it just looks like not much there.
Do you do any like kind of like really deep altcoin trading or mining, Alex?
Super low?
Yeah, like I don't go too much into the low caps. Like at least for trading, I try and stick in the top 50. You know, there's a couple smaller projects that I've interviewed before and I'm interested in. But for the most part, like my mining, I do have my script miners going right now on FlorinCoin. So like I do try and keep an eye out for something that's low difficulty, or like the return on it's not the greatest right now, but I expect future rewards out of it. So yeah, it's kind of like a good way to like put like mini buys in on some of the smaller caps.
That makes sense. Nice. You've got some ASIC script miners.
Yeah, I got some blades, and I got a couple grid seeds. So yeah, just another way to heat my house in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get a script ASIC, but I could never had like a good idea of whether it would ever be a good value or not. And I never wanted to get one of the big Titans or anything.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about the timing with those types of things, huh?
Oh, definitely.
And I know I don't have the best equipment. Like it's not very profitable stuff, but I just look at it as a way to like subsidize my home heating, along with like participating, having like skin in the game.
No, yeah, we experience we're in a cold climate location, so for me that's like been one of the biggest benefits of mining, is just that it makes my house warm. It's underappreciated, I think, honestly.
Yeah, well, and like I say, it's a whole new way to participate. Like proof of work coins have that added community benefit there, because there's a lot of ways for people to actually get the coin now. You don't have to go on the exchange and buy it from someone.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing I used to joke about in some IRC rooms was like a Bitcoin miner powered heating blanket for a product. That could be its own altcoin, right?
Yep.
All right, and then
it has to have one of those like 90 decibel fans from an amp.
Oh yeah, it's super loud too. But then another one that we've been actually keeping a little bit of an eye on is Luna. And man, like last week it was pump, 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 and then the hash disappeared basically immediate, like all of a sudden, and the price as well. So that wasn't too surprising, but it's definitely an interesting altcoin. They're basing most of their stuff on like some sort of website that I feel like doesn't matter at all, because it's like a referral marketing scheme type of thing. But I'm interested to see what will happen there, as far as it's kind of at the whim of the people that are in control of it, as most coins kind of end up being. But this one was so aggressive at first that I would I don't know. It's not that I'd be surprised if they just leave it where it is, but I kind of hope that they don't.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by this coin. It's another coin that like totally breaks the mold of what we've seen in recent coins in terms of it's no pre-mine, and then they're just doing crazy stuff on the market. Like if you haven't seen the coin exchange market on LunaCoin, you have to check it out, because it's just an example of kind of a really tightly controlled pump that plays out on an incredibly short time frame. Like,
right.
It's like a week from when they list it to stepping up, then faking out kind of a new top, and then dumping it again. And it's just really funny to see. And it kind of brings up when this first came out, I thought that the play was going to be like they were going to pump the price way up on Coin Exchange and then get on Cryptopia and Yobit, and then kind of dump on the people who are trying to sleuth out deals on those two exchanges right now.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
But then it's just like the whole thing, they decided to play it out on Coin Exchange, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, which I mean, for Coin Exchange's own benefit, I guess it's been a good exchange.
Yeah, that's true. And I have to wonder where they're going to go from here, because they've put so much energy into it already. It's hard to imagine that it was all just for such a short-term market play, essentially.
Yeah.
The affiliates or like referrals for it's interesting. Do you guys know where they're like getting the funds to pay that out?
No, I don't. I always like take that with such a huge grain of salt that I almost disregard it. That might be my own mistake, but I just feel like I don't take a lot of I don't take those to heart very much for whatever reason. What about you, Brandon? Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Well, it's an interesting concept. It looks like they have some sort of ad revenue that they're paying out coins on. Like, but yeah, I see right here on like their this little photo they have generated. It's like receive free Luna coins. Well, where are these free coins coming from if they don't have a pre-mine? So these are the questions that always make me ponder.
Yeah, so I feel like the whole thing is very manipulated in that regard. Like, it's not a very serious project, and the only thing that is interesting about it right now is that amazing price movement, and then also they had to support that with this crazy hash rate, which you can see on their chart there too.
Yeah, it had a preposterous hash rate. The market cap was like, this is a long proof of work coin. Like, it'll take ages for it to mine out. The way for it to have kept up with the market cap, it would have had to have been like a top 10 coin, which you just know doesn't make sense for somebody to come out the gate that strong with. But
yeah,
I did. I tried to play this coin on the market, and then like I was lucky to get out with my life.
Yep.
It was fun though.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those hashtag alts are back type of things, I guess. And then also on our rolling review, we're going to start tracking Whoop, which was announced last week and is still in the pre-announcement stages. But, you know, like you've noticed with a lot of these ones that are on here, it's that no pre-mine for the most part that we're really excited about at this point.
We're looking for miners coins, and not just because it's good for miners, because they just tend to be... That's the only coin format that doesn't just give the developer something straight up front. And as we've seen, it's very, anyone can create a clone, so it's just one of the first indicators that somebody's actually planning on putting something into the coin.
Yep. All right, we're going to move into our Random Coin Spotlight segment. This might actually end up being our last Random Coin Spotlight segment, because what happened was, now that we're at like our 49th show, we've been rolling 1 to 100. So now there's like getting close to like this almost 50% chance that we've already covered the coin that I roll.
Yeah,
oftentimes I roll a coin, I roll 2 or 3 numbers and I've covered them. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to just put the same coin into the Random Coin Spotlight. So I think I'm going to switch it up and basically track which coins are moving in and out of the top 100 and the top 10. Which could be interesting, and then we'll kind of ruminate on those coins as that occurs.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to mix it up a little bit, and so...
But for this week...
Good old random coin.
Good old random coin. And
this coin's random as fuck.
This coin is great for our last random 1 to 100 coin because it's CageCoin. And the only reason it's in the top 100 is because of a crazy altcoin pump.
Yeah, CageCoin is up a cool 120x this week.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, nothing big there, right?
Oh,
And it was all on this Coin Gather exchange, which is an exchange that we've heard about it. It's come up occasionally. I felt like maybe this pump was an advertisement for that exchange. And if that is the case, I think it worked. But I also am not going to go chase that type of thing, of course.
If I had some CageCoin, man, I'd be all about it.
Did you happen to be a Miracle CageCoin holder there, Alex?
No, I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan, so I wasn't bag holding that one.
Oh, Brendan, do you have a favorite Nicolas Cage character?
Favorite Nicolas Cage character? Oh man,
yeah, I know who mine is.
It's got to be National Treasure, man.
Mine's from Kick-Ass.
Oh, nice. That is a good one.
Yeah, he was awesome in that.
Not the bees.
So the highlight here is like, what is this doing in the top 100? I don't know.
I just checked it and it's back. It's at 0 Satoshi again.
Oh, perfect.
So 10,000% and then back down to 0 in a day.
Catch it on the Dogecoin market, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the funniest ones I've been looking at recently on Cryptopia, I've been kind of like just looking at a lot of markets on there. There's this one called RabbitCoin, and obviously it's called RabbitCoin because there's like a shit ton of them. But it was one of the few coins I could find that was less than a Litoshi, but was like still trading, and I thought that was really funny.
Dude, that's
I
brilliant.
would never buy that shit, but
that's fucking brilliant, actually.
I would love to see a coin that could succeed on that type of weird level.
There've been people that have been like masters of the Litoshi market, so you could be the first like guru of the Doge-toshi.
Yeah,
100 millionth Doge markets.
And then we rolled a second coin between the 100 and 300 market cap, and that came up with MetalCoin, which was actually, I think this is like less impressive than CageCoin when I look at it from this week, just because it's not doing a massive pump. But
because they didn't fake a 12,000 times pump on a weird exchange.
Yeah,
get it together, guys.
Actually, they were doing kind of okay-ish until they got delisted from Ventrix recently.
Yeah, they really took a tumble, obviously, as is the case for many delist coins.
It didn't have a big, like, there's not a lot of concept behind the coin necessarily. I suppose it's just kind of one of those coins out there.
Dude, they got metalmoshpit.com live.
Metal music, right? That's what it's based on?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just a super niche, ultra niche coin.
I like that stuff in a certain way just because I'm a coin collector when it comes down to it. And
right.
I think that there's a spot in the world for those types of just, hey, I've got a metal coin. Yeah, I picked it up in 2016.
Yeah, I've got some metal coins.
I don't know. We'll see. We're curious, Alex, where those types of blockchains actually end up in the future. Like, do they all just fizzle out, do you think? Or is there, like, a collector's value to them? Or is it something else,
Well, I think it depends on, like, if the chain is able to sustain or if, like, it's able to carry forward some way. Because, like, if you just have a wallet.dat file, like, and there's no chain to move it around, well, there's sentimental value to it as well, but
right.
You're going to be doing all your trading off exchange, like mailing people paper walls.
Yeah, that's a great point. And in the case of MetalCoin, unfortunately, being delisted from Bittrex means that they're only on Yobit, and Yobit does not care if the wallet works. So
not at all.
They've probably moved into the realm of
they're in danger.
Death.
They're on the edge of becoming a dead chain.
But I think there will be a time in the future when, like, there'll be coins that have been delisted from Bittrex, but they'll be able to come back with, significant demand or development.
Yeah, and one thing that I've been interested in with those is we kind of mentioned this with ARCcoin, which is not a great example from my perspective, but I think that coins that can move to, like, being hosted on other blockchains is a really good way to go for some of these, what we would call shitcoins, I guess.
Right.
Maybe even, Ubiq would be a platform where people could host coins eventually, for example.
Like your MetalCoin, you could become a Ubiq. You could make a Ubiq token.
Yeah, and then you don't have the overhead cost of, like, needing a hash rate or updating your wallet and stuff.
Yeah, that was one of our thinkings, too, because both Luke and Julian have done contract work for coins, but now it's kind of like, well, I'll help you swap to Ubiq, but that's basically all they're willing to take contract work for. So we already have 2 coins planned to move over, one of which is Luke's other project, and then we have one other coin that's on Bittrex that will be moving to the Ubiq chain.
Oh, that's cool to hear.
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting that. That's sweet. And yeah, that's kind of... Sorry, go ahead.
There could be more, but right now it's mainly just the 2. But I'm not surprised at all when I heard Arch was planning to swap to Ethereum Classic. So maybe he'll run an ICO on that coin. Seems kind of fitting with the whole use case of Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't announced Segwit for it. I'm on Segwit Ethereum Classic Arch coin.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
Exactly.
As long as I get my fucking Moby, like, so sick of waiting.
Yeah, Woody was just in it for the Moby the whole time. He was like the only one. He was the only one who wanted the Moby.
Yeah.
You want that CEO seat?
We're going to move into our new coin section, and basically we go down Bitcoin Talk, which is still basically where coins are getting announced at this point, and we look at the posts there.
Yeah, Bitcoin Talk is no longer always the first place that a coin gets announced, but we still found it's basically every coin goes through Bitcoin Talk, so we can still capture them, pretty much all of them this way.
Yeah. We start off with the proof of work, proof of stake coins, and at the top of the list is going to be StopTrumpCoin.
Alrighty, StopTrumpCoin.
5% pre-mine, which is less than we've seen occasionally.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's getting to be into small pre-mine territory.
Yeah, I don't know why that's even good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's got... this roadmap is hilarious. Step number 3, hold President Trump accountable. Like, usually the roadmap is like how you get to a destination. It's not just the destination. Like, roadmap, phase 2, profit.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be heavily influenced by StopTrumpCoin.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of doubt this one can get as big as TrumpCoin, unfortunately.
Nope, I think they're all just kind of riding that same wave, though.
Up next was JokerCoin.
This is really bad, just like a Yobit super high pre-mine coin.
Yep. It looks like it is like the type that at least it gets on Yobit, though, for whatever that's worth.
It's already on Yobit.
Yeah. Because they got the graphics, they got the
1 billion pre-mine.
They centered it.
they centered the post. They made it into a JPEG instead of just a text file. That's about all you'll get with JokerCoin.
Yeah, nothing much there.
A lot of effort.
Yeah. The next one is Impeach TrumpCoin.
So this is obviously totally different than StopTrumpCoin. We now have Impeach TrumpCoin. This one I thought was even funnier because the theme is 10% pre-mine, but they're going to donate 20% of the pre-mine to the ACLU.
I just would love I love the idea that the ACLU has to dump the pre-mine, dump 20% of the Impeach coin pre-mine to get their fucking Bitcoin that they can cash out or whatever.
I would love to be the person on the phone, if obviously it's all fake, but just to hear somebody try and call the ACLU to notify them that they were going to be donating, giving them a large donation in a worthless cryptocurrency. Which is so funny.
Oh, man.
But that's out there, so that is Impeach TrumpCoin.
And then we also saw XPasc.
XPasc.
There were more than a few Pascal clones this week.
Yeah, we got Pascal clones. This one is not even like a Pascal clone, though. It's just like a script clone with a huge pre-mine. So about what you'd expect. They're just trying to make money on the name. There is a Cryptopia link in here, but it's a Rickroll that cracked me the fuck up. I actually thought it was listed. I was like, oh shit, what's this going to trade for? But no, just a Rickroll.
Yeah.
Now, with all these Pascal clones, wasn't there just some issue recently with Pascal mining? I thought I remember seeing something from Supernova about some sort of attack vector or some issue with mining difficulty.
Yeah, there was some kind of issue that would allow some miners to block out other miners. I'm not sure what the exact technical detail of it was, but it did affect the Pascal clones this week that were actually Pascal clones were affected by it.
Why wasn't Pascal itself affected by it?
I just think that it's only a problem, I guess, in lower hash rate situations, and by the time it was discovered, Pascal already had plenty of hash rate.
I gotcha.
But yeah, XPasc is not even a real Pascal clone. It's just a pre-mine scam coin.
And then there was SmurfCoin.
This is exactly the same as JokerCoin, I think. Got to be the same person.
Yeah, it's the exact same fucking thing.
It's the same thing.
Good job, though, man. We appreciate that effort. And that's good. I do, at least. I think it looks nice. The coin sucks, though. You need to adjust it. And then there was PascalLite.
So this was the first actual Pascal clone, and I actually like this one because the guy just kind of beat a lot of the other people to the punch by releasing an honest Pascal clone, I guess. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to clone Pascal. That's all it's going to be. It's released by a guy who's been around on Bitcoin Talk for a while, at least, not just some random
Didn't
noob.
he try to release something else recently that didn't go well? I'm feeling like I saw this name. But is this one of the ones that had that issue?
Yeah, there was a mining issue in the early blocks. I think it updated I think he copied the update from the main Pascal thing that fixed it, but there definitely was a period where some miners were able to get essentially control of all the blocks.
Interesting.
But even in spite of that, at least it's not making a bunch of false promises. It kind of, there's bound to be Pascal coin clones, and so it's nice to have one like this come up that's pretty straightforward and at least will, not. It'll make it harder for other stupider Pascal clones, I guess, is my point.
Oh, I found it. He's the guy that was going to do that jackpot takeover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that might still work out, man.
It sounded... I kind of followed up with that a little bit this week, and it sounded like they were not reaching an agreement Like,
Oh, he didn't get the go-ahead? The official
it
go-ahead?
got complicated with like the coin, what they were going to do regarding the swap, and it
broke
wasn't
down.
It wasn't looking good where I was at right now.
Negotiations are breaking down.
But that's cool that he did PascalLite, I guess.
Yeah, so PascalLite is out there. If you're looking for a Pascal clone, I think this is probably the one that you should look at.
And then there's Turbo PascalCoin.
This one just failed. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think this was another one that was going to be a legitimate Pascal clone, but he wasn't able to get the wallet working correctly. He was changing the way the account generation worked, like the number of accounts, and apparently it broke something.
Oh, interesting. Was he trying to make it more accounts per block or less?
I believe so, yeah. He was going to have a lot of accounts per block, like at first, and then
Interesting.
have it taper off, I think.
And then there was MelaniaCoin.
Yep, another political figure coin.
Melania. I'm not really bad at saying her name.
I think it's Melania.
Yeah.
MelaniaCoin.
And that one just falls right in line with what we've been seeing. Basically, people are they don't need to be creative. They don't try to be creative. They just follow the trends. These guys. So
Yeah, so it's a super long proof of work coin with a pre-mine. This is made by Belligerent Fool, the Bitcoin talk guy. He's made like a dozen.
we used to
altcoins.
see him releasing
Two or three a week,
two or
yeah.
three a week for a while there. Yeah. So that's not a great sign.
He's back in the mix.
But what about those doubloons?
Doubloons. Yeah, this is a good one. There's a bunch of misspellings in the graphics. He lied about the pre-mine, and the coin supply is incorrect. So it's pretty much usual, par for the course for these.
Yeah, that's not good.
I think the Windows wallet was also broken on this. Yeah, good coin.
So on to the next, as usual, Creakcoin.
This was like 100% pre-mine, so I don't even know what the point is.
All right. Well, what about Elysium?
They got a nice graphic.
Yeah, Elysium, for some reason, when you look through a list of 20 high pre-mine shit clones, somehow one of them sometimes manages to stand out, and for some reason I think Elysium's the best of those this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it reminds me of the Decred thing, right?
The graphic.
Yeah, or the Ethereum one. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Not Decred, sorry.
a shard.
yeah,
Oh, you're right. It's obviously... I didn't even get that. It's obviously playing on Ethereum.
yeah.
That's funny. Well, it's just a script clone, so that's what it's all about. About 60,000 blocks of pre-mine, I think, on this one.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like a lot of promises or anything either.
But it's got a big thread, I'm sure. Of all the high pre-mine coins, this is the one this week we'll probably hear about again.
Yeah. And then there's Minions. I kind of like the coin logo this guy came up with. But
Big eyeball.
Yeah, because it's the Minions, right?
I assume so, but he at least did it without copying any of their images.
Oh, it
It's
looks
just
perfect.
it's just a big eye.
He
Oh,
nailed it.
I see it now.
He
I didn't
nailed
see
it.
at first.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't see
get
it
it?
at first.
Yeah, it's perfect.
How did I miss it? It's
Yeah.
obvious now that I see it.
So, but, you know, this one falls into the category of every other altcoin as usual.
Yep, big pre-mine, no futures.
And then GanjaCoin.
This is a wallet builders. Not even the first GanjaCoin, I don't think.
People have been at least laying off the wallet builders a little bit lately.
I don't know. Maybe wallet builders has just upped their project a little bit, so it's harder to
They're going
spot
for
'em.
that premium.
Yeah, exactly. People are really shelling out the 0.05 for the premium clone wallets.
Yeah. All right. So then we'll move on to the airdrops that are announced this week, and that was HollyWeed.
This is one of those kind of questionable airdrops where it's like 1,000 slots available, and then like 15 minutes later they're all gone, and you really just have to wonder
Just who
just
would
who
have done
Who
that?
claimed to own
Yeah,
all those airdrops.
right. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We might see more of it, but
We saw a lot of that maybe, like, I don't know, a year and a half prior to the show. Like, before we even started recording, we saw more of those types of things.
that was like building up to Decred, which is like the king of all airdrops.
Oh, such an amazing one.
And then there was like a flood of small airdrops after that, and they've petered out since.
Do you remember MiracleCoin?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Were
That
you
was
around
great.
for that one, Alex?
I don't believe I was.
Oh, that was crazy. They just made a wallet that all you had to do was open the wallet, and every running wallet would receive coins in some sort of time interval.
Yeah, there would be like a set amount of coins given out every hour, and then they just got distributed evenly among all the nodes. It was a really good way to do an airdrop, honestly. I really liked it. But
Yeah, but then, it resulted in everybody getting a ton of free coins, and then once the price got high, there was a lot of unhappy people. But it was a hilarious one.
Well, it's the same with like high staking rate coins too, right? Like a lot of people, the incentive is to buy coins, bring them off the market, and start staking them. But it's not exactly sustainable to have like 50% interest rate or whatever.
yeah, it just doesn't. I've discovered from personal experience that those kind of coins just end up not playing out very well. You get into this period, like this space, where if you actually want to do something with the coin, whether it's spend it on, nobody uses these things to buy products, but if you did want to use it for that, or just to speculate with, you're in a situation where if you're not staking it, you're losing, and so you like always have this pressure to either stake or get out. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah, try out that WormCoin then, right?
That's my biggest beef with WormCoin.
17% interest or whatever.
I like WormCoin, but the stake is going to make it hard.
Yeah. And then we saw some... This is sort of our category of things that don't fall into the other ones. And we saw PiCoin.
Yeah, this was like a pre-announcement for an airdrop. This is going to be a MiracleCoin style distribution where everyone who's on the list gets like coins every so often, like once a day or something. But he's going to do it manually instead of have it be automated.
Oh, damn. That's way too much work.
Yeah, you can't really trust that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But who knows?
So a lot of newbie accounts posting this stuff. Like nobody's been really established on Bitcoin Talk with a lot of these projects.
Yeah, and that's sometimes one of those things that's like, sometimes good and sometimes not as an indicator. We feel like, because people either can buy those accounts, or oftentimes we've seen some of the best coins be launched by newbies, looking at Blackcoin, looking at Pascal right now, those types of ones. So it is interesting to see that people are still just like creating accounts to make coins.
Yeah, it turns out that unfortunately it's not a good indicator. Like the best thing that it can be is somebody posts the thread that you like actually know, like somebody with a reputation releases a coin. But that doesn't happen very often. And it works out that in general, because so many accounts are for sale, you can't, it just doesn't work out to be a good indicator. It's funny.
I still can't believe that Bitcoin Talk supports and encourages the sale of those accounts. That's so funny to me. Like,
they facilitate it.
They
yeah.
still do that.
I can't believe they still have this altcoin announcement forum, man. The whole thing is just a little bit surreal, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then there was MusiCoin.
MusiCoin. This is a really sparse pre-announcement, but it's another one that won't have pre-miner ICO, so I'll keep an eye on it.
There's already a MusiCoin, man. Do your research.
That's true.
Come on. I just feel like people jump into this stuff without really appreciating the work that other people have done. Like, even if it is a shitcoin, like that's all you're doing as well.
Right.
So you at least like have to appreciate what other shitcoin developers have made.
It just goes back to the Bitcoin Talk thing. There's no incentive for people not to make posts about, whatever pops into their head. So they're going to do it. And
so that's one of them.
You hear the same idea over and over again in different, implementations. This one looks like it's a fork of the Ethereum code base, though, right?
You're talking about MusiCoin?
Yeah.
I didn't see. It's using. Oh wait, I was thinking of a different coin. I know there's one that's using the Espers algo, but that's not this one. This is Ethash.
Yeah, but it has EVM, like the Ethereum virtual machine, somehow with smart contracts.
Oh.
I don't know. Could be better than Tau. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times the good announcements are really, really simple, really basic at first, because they're not even trying to draw attention.
Yeah, or intentionally, not occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting you mentioned that that Tau one, because I feel like there is that spot for some type of music protection. Just people. It's funny. I don't know. I guess I think about how people oftentimes do download music for free, but a lot of this type of technology also leads towards people actually getting paid for their music, which is a great thing. So I think these types of blockchains are really interesting, and when somebody gets it right, that'll be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, in terms of like trying to find interviews for the show, like media and like media coins and kind of even just data ownership coins and registration stuff. Like it's definitely a growing field, a lot of interest. A lot of people are trying different concepts on it, but it's very crowded. So when you hear about a new one, it's kind of like, oh, in order for them to innovate, there's already a lot of big name projects that are kind of attempting it at different ways. So
right, and one of the things about Bitcoin Talk is that anybody can post anything there. That's kind of part of the fun, I suppose, of this
no
whole
rules.
thing. So
that's funny. That was kind of what I was thinking about Vidz when it came out. I was like, this is old. This theme's been done. I'll ignore it. And
then they actually did it a little bit.
Yeah, and then they actually delivered something, which is obviously on its own that stands out.
And then we've been kind of skipping the ICOs for the most part, but we do still like to name them off. We had an AICoin, we had Ventrix, we had the ChainOfPoints, we had WeTrust, Starbase, TAS,
TAAS,
and Runero.
I can't tell if that's Runero or Run Euro. Something like that.
Runero.
Yeah, as usual, a lot of ICOs.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for the new coins. Looking back this week, the trend of, I think the shitcoin developers are like in overdrive right now because of the Pascal hype. They're trying to kind of catch people. So there's just a ton of like huge pre-mine, kind of boring coins. So if I was to look, I would say PascalLite's probably the most interesting for me, just because it's at least an honest coin, and it's actually a fork of the Pascal code. It's not just like another script QT, at least. Otherwise, I don't know.
A lot of them are just gambles. I like your PascalLite mention there. I think that's interesting that somebody made that one. I don't know. Anything stand out to you, Alex, at all?
Not particularly, I'm fair to say.
Go ahead.
There's a little tool that I played around with that Julian made back for Jumbucks. It's like a coin name generator. And you play around with that for like 5 or 10 minutes and laugh at a couple of them that pop up. Like Max Remote Cache is one that came up here.
Nice.
And then you start looking at AN announcements and you realize there's really not a whole lot separating like this coin name generator from a lot of the ANs.
That's awesome because it's part of our grand conspiracy theory, which is that there's the AI that generates all of the shit coins. From
birth to Yobit listing to death. I dream of just a grand AI that's running the whole thing. And honestly, that one you just mentioned is more creative than some of these actual shitcoin names, so it might be closer than we're thinking.
Yeah, we got rare external token, digital dark.
I need to start writing these down.
Dirty token.
We actually had a really good one today. I feel like it's fun to just talk about. At this point, we were thinking of a SnoozeCoin.
SnoozeCoin.
With the ZZZ as the ticker.
Yeah, so that's always last on the list.
And if you snooze, you win.
Yep. Snooze, you win.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole coin. That's all you need.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Script mining available and starting soon.
And then let's see.
But yeah, not honestly weaker coins than I was expecting. I kind of thought that somebody would come up with something cool, just to try to catch the wave from Pascal, but just clones really.
It's interesting too because when I look back at trying to collect the birthdays in 2014, for example, this was a really active time for launches. This time of year, like I'm talking 5-6 coins a day, just random stuff. It was probably one person doing it, but it was all ending up on the same markets with the same
crypto rush,
same types of things. So it's interesting to see those types of waves, I guess.
Well, I mean, that was all kind of generated by the Litecoin pump and the huge Bitcoin pump, obviously. I thought that we would see more real projects announced in the wake of the most recent Bitcoin pump, with it being back over 1,000 and all that. And we're not seeing it right now. We're mostly just seeing kind of the same caliber of wallet builders type stuff.
So let's take a look at what got listed this week then. Supernova, one of the mining pools that we watch, didn't list anything.
Not that we found, at least.
Cryptopia listed Komodo, which is an ICO that we've seen coming for a while. Koosh, and then Waves.
Interesting listing with Waves, I think.
Yeah, that's nice. And then Bittrex listed Hacker Gold,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Like, I mean, obviously they get paid for their listings, which a lot of exchanges do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's funny to see this one come up because this is one. The only time this has ever popped in my view is just to one of those random coins that I look at, and it's mostly a Chinese exchange traded coin, from what I could tell.
It's like I think it's an owned supply coin. Like they pre-mined all of it, and they're just kind of trying to lure people.
Yeah, I
in.
don't even know the as far as the technicals go. I couldn't tell you.
And yeah, that's based off my very foggy memory of when I first looked at it. But it's.
But yeah, obviously they're just still having a little bit of trouble listening to their customers, I guess. And then Yobit listed Artbyte, Ride My Car, JokerCoin, and Bitcoin Premium. Which is an interesting and less long list than we've seen from Yobit occasionally.
There's just not as many coins out there.
JokerCoin, you guys remember that was a new one this week.
Yep.
So they did that. C-Cex listed TerraCoin. That's actually an older one.
Yeah, it's like a 4 or 5 year old coin.
Yeah.
I think it used to be on BTCE at one point.
Mm-hmm. They managed to make it to the top of the C-Cex voting list. I wonder how long that took them.
That's a good
question.
question.
In reality.
Just patiently voting every week.
Yeah.
I suspect they just.
And then somebody
paid up
finally
the
like,
Bitcoin.
I'll pay half a Bitcoin. And then Nova Exchange listed Phoenix, Ohm, Pi, Tattoo, CageCoin, and CryptoBuck 2.
That's the GCC coin.
Oh.
Is what that one is.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, I don't know really anything about any of those coins, but they're
and
out
then
there.
CoinExchange.io also listed Komodo, and there's that Elysium.
Oh, I didn't know that got listed already.
Yep. So cool. We look back at those listings, and anything standing out to you, Alex?
I thought the Hacker Gold was kind of interesting. I guess that's Hacker Camp or Ether Camp, their token. So it's like their ICO for ICOs.
Oh, that's right. That's where I've heard of it before. When they were, I would see that tweeted around occasionally. Yeah.
Okay, so disregard what I said before. That was apparently not. I did not remember.
No, but
that
it has been primarily traded on Chinese exchanges until now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, and this is kind of par for the course with what's going on with Ethereum right now. It's kind of in a development round, so there's a lot of fundraising, and now the market's being listed for the coins, or these ICOs are kind of, I don't know, they're more in accumulation phase. I think it's kind of spreading a lot of the Ethereum wealth around.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of been interesting to see the way the Ethereum ecosystem is spread like that. Sorry, so that's cool. I guess I totally misinterpreted what this coin was about.
No, that's great to hear that it stands out too, because who knows, man? Like, we oftentimes miss those little ones. So,
all right, cool.
And for me, nothing really stands out very much. I feel like TerraCoin stands out a little bit just because it's an older one getting listed, but honestly, that's probably just because they finally made it to the top, like we were saying.
It seems like Komodo is going to be one of these volume ICOs, but I don't know much about what's going on, like as far as technology or any of that stuff there.
Yeah.
That'll do it for the listings this week. We are going to close it out with birthdays.
Yeah, we always like to take a look at the birthdays we can find, and of course, please feel free to submit birthdays to us at blockchaindynamics.net. This week, what I found was a couple 3-year birthdays. Dash actually had its birthday. It was born on January 29th, 2014.
Wouldn't that have been just fantastic to Instamine?
Yeah, it would have been one of the best ones to really put that miner on.
If you actually got it compiled like right at the launch, that would have been incredible. Of course, back then we were all obsessed with script clones. Nobody even noticed it. But
yeah.
Good coin.
And then
one of my first purchases, actually, I bought Dash in May when I first got in. It was like I think April 2014 is when I bought in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, very cool.
I remember I was salty about Dash because back then I was like super obsessed with mining new coins. And I remember skipping Dash, and then like when it hit the exchange, I like thought it was, I felt slighted because they didn't release a coin that I could effortlessly mine with my, with my script GPU miner or whatever. And so I was like salty about it. But in hindsight, of course, I should have known that what they were doing was a lot smarter. But.
Yeah, and those types of things taught us lessons about like sometimes when there's that little bit of extra effort involved, that can be a good short-term indicator for something.
Take the leap.
Yeah, take that leap. Why not? If it takes the extra 20 minutes to figure out how to compile it, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, happy birthday, 3 years to Dash. We also have a 3-year birthday this week for AuroriaCoin.
AuroriaCoin, man, that was a funny one, wasn't it?
It's the coin that changed Iceland forever, I think.
Yeah. Man, what a pump.
Incredible.
I went to Iceland recently, and I did not see any Aurora vendors anywhere. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
You went with your bag of AuroriaCoin, thought you would live like a king, and...
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was going to be accepted everywhere. I was looking at the ATMs and everything. The funny thing is, Iceland has an airline called WOW Air, so the plane has like WOW written all over the ground. That's why I was like, man, they should just have like Dogecoin as their official currency.
Yeah, that would be more appropriate. It would probably get more traction than the actual AuroriaCoin did, but
yeah.
Still, gotta love AuroriaCoin. It was just another coin that taught me a lot back in 2014 about, I guess, what was possible with altcoin markets.
Yeah, it seems like I'm always learning something with every coin.
Well, and it's good advertisement for the space as a whole, too, right? Like, a lot of people in Iceland, I think, caught the Bitcoin bug because Aurora is being kind of referred out so much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually.
We both like to joke that we got back into cryptocurrency because of Coinye, because we saw Coinye in the news and thought it was funny. We're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yep, that was it.
It was that simple. It just takes one little thing for people that were like, oh, man, I've heard of all of that. And then they're like, oh, wait, you can actually just get into mining and trading coins.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not actually that hard.
Yeah.
And if you're a citizen and you just like get some Aurora coin for free, even if they dump it for Bitcoin right away, like that's a new Bitcoin user that wasn't there before. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. I think that's going to pretty much do it for our episode number 49.
Yeah, we really want to thank you, Alex, for being on the show. It's been great having you.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation and learning a little more about the fringe of the altcoin space. Kind of keeps me grounded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we're going to have episode 50 next week with our announcements of who's won the Wolong Awards, which should be pretty fun.
It's going to be fun.
With Not So Fast, so hopefully people tune in for that.
We are, of course, brought to you by cryptopia.co.nz. Don't forget to check them out. They're a really great up-and-coming altcoin exchange, but they also have a ton of other futures as well, including they've got like a mineshaft integrated mining pool that goes with a lot of the coins that they trade there. They have really good coin information, like you can get nodes and block explorers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a ton of great futures. As always, we hang out in our thread there in the Cryptopia forums. We are in the altcoin section. We have a thread stickied up there. Please stop by, say what's up. If you post anything in the thread, we'll give you 5,000 dots, so that's cool.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Yep, this has been episode number 49. We also like to mention that our theme is from an artist called Grammatic.
That's right. And Blockchain Dynamics, Error by Trial Radio. See you next week with heavier bags.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye, Alex.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money, though.
Pull up on my Nakamoto.